Yeah, you pretty much nailed it on the head there. 200 games in front of friends and family for my hometown club is something very special. So yeah, really looking forward to the game. Look, I know she'll come out with me on the pitch. I'm not sure she'll be able to follow the other kids off the pitch, so she'll probably want to get in the team photo with Daddy. But yeah, look, I've been trying to run it past her this current week on what the process is, but we'll see how we go. My old man, he was a big football fan, massive Rangers fan actually, so grew up supporting Rangers. But yeah, he was probably the biggest influence, and you know, brought home a football one day, just started kicking it, me and my brother, and yeah, the rest is what it is. Yeah, it was tough at the time, you know. I felt like I deserved to be there, and being told, you know, that there wasn't a contract for me there anymore, I took it pretty poorly, especially being a young player. And you know, I felt like that sort of window of opportunity had kind of fallen through, and coming back at the age that I did, I think it was 18, 19, coming back here, I was to be honest ready to go and travel the world with a few friends and then think about getting a real job. My old man, football lover, told me to stick by it. I signed with Inglewood United in the NPL and just played freely as a centre half, and you know, had a really good year with them, picked up Player of the Year throughout the league, and from there, yeah, like I was on Perth Glory's radar from that. And I think shortly after that season, Ian Ferguson called me into his office because I was training with the first team a couple of times a week. So yeah, he called me into the office and told me he wanted to sign me and give me my first professional contract. And you know, I've never kind of looked back from there. I've got a lot to thank my dad for. He's always stuck by me. He's been my biggest mentor along with Mum. But yeah, it's crazy how a career can tip in the balance of either making it or not, and I'm very grateful I stuck it out and have had the career I've had. Just kind of happened because you can, as a striker when you're young, it's when you're scoring all the goals, and then as you kind of grow up, the standard kind of spreads out. You kind of figure out your position. I played wing, played all up and down the left side, kind of played everywhere really. So I just think I've found myself on the wing or at fullback is probably my best position. I did. I'm an Arsenal supporter as well myself. Thierry Henry was someone I looked up to, and I liked Robin van Persie as well, left footer, Arsenal strikers, you know. And I had a couple of idols for the Glasgow Rangers. George Alberts was one of them, Michael Moles, also strikers. I was a striker when I was a kid, so yeah, these are some of the players that I looked up to. Can't go past Bobby Despotowski. I like John Markowski as well. You know, these were that was back when I was a striker as well, so obviously they were my favourite players, but you know, there's a lot of legends back there. You know, Scotty Miller as well was always one because he had a wicked left foot. And yeah, just seeing where the club was there, you know, with the old scaffolding and, you know, kicking the ball around and the Velcro chicken treat goal behind that. It was always a family day out that we enjoyed, and fond memories of looking back, growing up watching the glory. Yeah, I was pretty nervous, but you know, since the moment I signed the contract, I think it was that weekend that, you know, I was put into the starting lineup. So it all happened quite quickly, and you know, the words that I received was just go out and do what you were doing before now. And you know, once I was out there, it was you get your first passes in, first few touches, and then you kind of settle. You get into the game, and then yeah, it just kind of takes over. You're not really thinking about the occasion, but then after the game's finished, you're kind of like, wow, that was awesome, you know, my first professional game. You look back at those kind of memories. I think the build-up throughout the day was probably worse than being out there. You know, it's a later kick-off and you're kind of mulling the game over within your head, but yeah, I've got good memories of my first game, yeah. I think you learn a bit from each and every coach. You know, there's parts of coaches that one might have that another might not have, and I think having that balance throughout my career has really helped me. You know, off the pitch, on the pitch, tactically. I've had some fantastic coaches throughout my career, which I'm very lucky for, and I feel like it's moulded me into the player that I am today. So I can't really pick anyone out in particular. You know, they've all played an important part in my career. Yeah, well, it was hard for me. You know, like I really wanted to be in this starting team, but so does every footballer. But as a young player, sometimes you have to bide your time, or you've got to move away and get experience somewhere else. And I felt at the time, you know, the players in my positions here at Perth were just too strong, and they had longevity in their contracts, and there wasn't really an avenue unless, you know, an injury or a suspension for me. So I felt like at that moment in time it was, yeah, I didn't want to leave, but I felt for my career it was best in that moment too. Yeah, it was tough. It was always a difficult trip to come here to Perth. The travel, the weather, the strength of the squads that they had, and the fans here. You know, they make it quite loud for the opposition and daunting. So, and that's what they've been doing for us against the other teams this year as well. So they're like a 12th man for us. But yeah, I much prefer playing for them than against them. It just got in contact with, Stevie and Gus reached out to me, asked if I'd be interested in returning to the club. And yeah, of course I was. I always wanted to come back to Perth, and I felt it was the right time. I wanted to come back and play here. And yeah, I was excited to do so and get that over the line. And when it happened, yeah, pack the family up and move across west. Yeah, it definitely wasn't the ideal return to Perth for myself and for a lot of other boys. Last year was, it is what it is. We're on the road for the majority of the season. Didn't get to play many home games, and you know, away from family a lot. Especially myself, you know, my family's just moved over from the East Coast, and then they're here and I'm back on the East Coast without them. So I think it was a lot more harder on them as well. But you know, having said that, that's in the past, and where we're at now, the club and playing at home and enjoying the season that we're having so far is, yeah, like very happy, and I feel we're only going to continue to grow. Yeah, very good place at the moment, you know, mentally, physically, everything's, yeah, can't complain about too much really. Yeah, just enjoying my time on the pitch, training, playing the games. You can't beat going out on a Saturday night and playing in front of our fans, and it's what we look forward to all week. So we put in the hard shifts throughout the week in training, and then yeah, come game day, we know what we have to do, and that's the enjoyable part. Yeah, obviously the debut, walking out for the first time was very special, but probably a more recent memory, you know, scoring my first goal for Perth in the manner it happened as well was a very special feeling.
And now Jelicic will lay it off for Jack Clisby. What a wonderful strike.
And that is a goal with all his experience that he will not forget, Jack Clisby.
You know, seeing the fans behind the goal, throwing their beers up in the air and that, and it was a special moment, and to walk away with the victory that night, I think it was the first game at Macedonia Park, was nice.